Icons are one of the most recognisable features of Orthodox places of worship. 35-year-old Fadi Mikhail is a full-time iconographer whose works can be seen in churches and cathedrals across the world. And the icons here in St George's are all his work. Where did your love of iconography come from?
We had icons all the way around our house when I was growing up. And I think something changed around age 18. I wanted to try and paint about my faith. And I had the opportunity to go for a few months to America, where there was a Coptic iconographer working on a church. It was a magnificent building. And I could see, watching him just solidly for 2 months, he loved the materials as well, and he was very deft in his brushwork, and it wasn't always about the content, but also about the process. That was very spiritual for him.
He really inspired you.
He really did. He's definitely my key inspiration for all of this.
So talk me through, if you will, the process.
Icons will always start life as a piece of wood generally, because the paint that we use is the kind that might get a bit brittle and crack. And they're covered with canvas, and then the surface we actually prepare them with looks a bit like a milkshake, but really it's chalk powder mixed with some kind of glue. And then on top of that, we would then apply the drawing, most usually in charcoal, just because it's very easy to rub away if you're not very happy with the design. And once you're happy with the design, finally, you'd take a paint, you'd paint over the charcoal so it sets it there.
And the gold leaf is a very important part.
It is, it is. It's supposed to symbolise the glory of God shining around the saints, or shining from within the saints in the halos.
How much does your faith play a part in each and every one that you produce?
And it wouldn't mean a thing if it wasn't about Christ. I look back on some of the icons that I've managed to do, and every time it convinces me more and more that God has a hand in all this. I can't even replicate some of the things I used to do, and I think God was really saving my bacon every now and again. He said, you know, I think I'm gonna paint this one for you just in case you mess this up.
What do they actually mean? What is their purpose?
Through icons, you know, we're trying to encourage different sight. Of course, we as humans don't walk around with halos, but if we saw somehow with our spiritual eyes, if we saw as Christ saw us, we'd always see the Holy Spirit burning through from within us, you know, literally burning with light outside our bodies and filling us with light. You'll also see the faces, generally speaking, are quite similar. And some people say, you know, doesn't that mean you're just copying face to face to face? But you can take it from a different point of view and think, well, if Christ is akin to the Father, or if he and the Father are one, then of course we are his children, and so to some extent we'll look like him, spiritually speaking. What
is it you hope that worshippers today get from these beautiful pieces?
Icons, in fact, are often said to be windows to heaven. We never claim that they are heaven themselves, but they are a looking glass through which we're reminded of our perfect imaginings of Christ, who he really is in the spiritual eye, rather than with a human eye. But they're just reminders that we're not alone in their spiritual journey with Christ.